Okay, I'm not sure if this is actually officially live or not. If this is actually officially live or not. Do you guys hear me? If this is actually officially live or not. Do you guys hear me? It sounds good? Perfect. If this is actually alrighty. Do you guys hear me? Thank you guys. It sounds good? Perfect. If this is actually alrighty. I've never used OBS before, so hey Chris. It sounds good. I've never used OBS before, so I do apologize for the kind of I've never used strange before, so screen setup, but I've never used OBS before, so I do apologize for the kind of I've never used strange before, so screen setup, but is that any better? Is it still echoing? Is it still echoing now? I thought I did actually. No more echo. Okay, good. Not good at this thing, guys. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Wow. I am thrilled to have everyone here, so thank you so much for joining me. How is everyone? It's been a while. Hey, be careful what you wish for, okay? So I got 24 people in here on my side, so yay, hit the like button. Alrighty guys, so first of all, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sharing, you know, your love for the hobby with me and just, you know, making this just such a great experience. I always feel so accomplished that I can share some of the stuff that, you know, I have been going through recently with my fish room and my experiences with everyone that's here. And I want to say a huge shout out to Scott and Liz. Your live streams are always absolutely phenomenal. I love them and I thoroughly enjoy them. Also, another big thank you again to Scott for really throwing the word out about Project Piaba. And that to me is so refreshing because a lot of what I plan to do with my fish room eventually will be revolving around care species, and also, you know, the Project Piaba is just such a fantastic organization, and if there's anything that I can do, Scott and Liz, to help you guys get the word out there even more, then I will absolutely, you know, I got your back with that one. And so as you can see, I got a little bit of a change going on here, and this is the first addition to my fish room, and I'm honestly quite thrilled as to how well these 6 little tanks are doing. Whenever you change something in a fish room, it's always kind of a daunting task, especially when you're adding something new, adding a new element to something that you're already doing. You know, you kind of get yourself into that comfort zone of your daily routine and how everything's supposed to go, and then you add more to it and you're like, oh, okay. So thank you for all of the words of encouragement. I cannot thank you guys enough, because without the support of a lot of you guys that are actually currently in my chat, it probably would never have been possible for me to push myself to exceed those goals. So I really, truly am thankful to you. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but this tank up here has oak leaves in it. This was a new experiment for ram's horn snails. And so far, they seem to really, really love them. And there are probably 600 clutches of eggs all over the glass in there, and it's any snail hater's worst nightmare. But so far, I'm absolutely loving the way these tanks are going for me. And I think they look pretty good, right? So I wanted to share with you guys some things I've been seeing recently in some of the other YouTubers I've seen about some mishaps that they've had in the fish room, and one of them being Lisa and John. They had a arowana jump out of their tank, even though the tank lid was very securely fastened, and still that arowana managed to get out. So it goes without saying, anytime that you have, yeah, you know what, Jay's beta, I've also read a lot of stuff on the oak leaves, and I wanted to try them with my ram's horn snails first because I'm not too happy with, I wasn't too sure on sharing them with my beta just yet, but we'll get there in the end. But I'm really happy with the results. And actually, I do have a bunch in this tank with the oak leaves. There are beta in there, but they're like soft culls. They're just stunted. They haven't grown correctly. So they're in there for now. See how they do. And then we'll see what happens with them. But so far, they're doing fantastic. So I decided that the big tank behind me, my 75 behind me, right now is a beta sorority. As a lot of people already know, I have a large beta sorority behind me. And there's probably, let me see, there was, at the time of me putting it together, there was probably every bit of about 60, 65 female beta in there. And it worked beautifully. I had no fighting, no bickering, none of them trying to kill each other. And honestly, I was very, very satisfied in the fact that there were so many female beta in this tank, and they were all just harmonious. And everyone who knows anything about beta knows that it can go one way or the other way in a blink of an eye. And so this tank has brought me a lot of joy, for quite a few months now. But also, I do have other plans for it, and it's definitely going to be changed. And actually, I'm in the process of changing everything for it as it is, but it's going to take time because I have some very, very special fish coming from a friend that are going to be going in there, and a lot of people will be glad to know that they are actually an endangered species, and they are actually coming from Scott from King and Queen Cichlids. So I can't wait to be able to share those with everybody. That's going to be an absolutely awesome. Susie! I just saw Susie. And sorry, I got completely distracted by my fellow Pennsylvanian. But that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So anyway, going back to the whole sharing mishaps and things that can happen in a fish room and things that you don't actually ever think really are going to happen to you. But the 75 behind me had a very large hang on the back filter, which was fantastic. It was doing its job perfectly well. However, the largest problem I found was that it was just throwing the beta around the tank. And they seemed to be okay with it, and I tried repositioning it and like creating areas where, you know, it didn't affect the tank so much, so the beta didn't have to fight the current in there so much. But I just honestly didn't like how much flow it was producing through that tank, especially not for the beta. So I decided to pull it off, and I moved it over into my goldfish tub. I have a 60-gallon goldfish tub that houses my 4 comets and my 3 oranda. And in doing so, what happened was the original tube that was on it broke off into, like, I think it was like 4 different pieces. It was like 4 different sections that you could make it long enough to reach the bottom of the 75. So when I moved it over onto the tub, obviously the tube was entirely too long for the tub. So I broke it down into one piece and then just put the cap end on it. And I placed the filter on and I turned it on and it was working fine. And I was like, great, perfect. This is exactly what I want. Now the goldfish have even more filtration than they could possibly ever need. Knowing that goldfish are dirty animals, you know, they've got very healthy appetites and they eat just about anything that goes near that tank, including my children's hands. And the following morning, I came down to my fish room and I suddenly realized that the filter is not making any noise. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? Like, this thing was working perfectly fine last night. As I walked towards the tub, I suddenly realized that my female oranda is stuck to the inlet. And not on her body, but on her wen. So her wen is stuck and her body is just sticking out of this thing, and she's just, my heart sank. And I'm already like welling up because I'm like, there's no way she's gonna be dead. Like, she's dead. There's just no way. It's stuck to the top of her head. I go to grab her, and as I pull her off, like, I hear the suction come off of her head, and her wen is like cone shaped, and I'm just absolutely mortified. And she swims off, and as she swims off, she swims back underneath it and gets her belly stuck to it this time. So at this point, I'm like, oh my God, she's okay. She's swimming. I'm like, she's going to die though. So I pulled her back off, and what it was when I put the intake tube back on, when I was changing the pieces, it didn't quite stay on. And it had somehow managed to come off. I don't know whether the goldfish had knocked it off or whether it just like fallen off during the night or early hours in the morning. And I was just so devastated, just absolutely devastated that I obviously hadn't pushed that tube on well enough. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna die, and it is all my fault. Like, it's all my fault, and I love these fish. And amazingly, I don't know how, she survived. She's perfectly fine. She is perfectly fine. Thank God. So that was my biggest mishap in the fish room. But honestly, it was honestly like just so heartbreaking because I knew it was my fault. Like, I mean, it's not their fault that they knocked the inlet tube off. It's completely my fault for not making sure that it was on there secure enough. And I really wanted to share that because I know I've seen a lot of pictures on Facebook where, you know, people try to put these hang on the back filters on their goldfish tubs. And I'm like, I wonder how many people have actually had this happen and haven't had such a successful outcome with the fact that, you know, their goldfish have survived. If I'm just, you're gonna troll, but you're not that good at it. I'm sure if you try hard enough, Mr. B, you're gonna be absolutely fantastic at it. But yeah, so I was very, very, very upset, but thank goodness she is okay. So that was a horrible, horrible thing, but I really felt like it was important to share it because not everything that we do is perfect. You know, we also get, make mistakes, and no matter how hard we try to make everything absolutely by the book, there's always something that, bites us, so to speak. So what I want to know is, have any of you ever experienced something like that where a fish has gotten stuck to an inlet tube and given itself quite the impressive haircut, so to speak? Because her wen was literally like probably every bit of half an inch like taller than it was before, and it was like perfectly cylindrical. And I'm just like, oh, this poor fish. Oh my god. And and also with Oranda, you have to worry about infection getting in there when too. So like the worst place that she could possibly have gotten stuck to this filter was on her wen. But she's aw. but she's doing really well. She's perfectly fine. My male Oranda, unfortunately, he needs to have his wen cut because he can't see it hardly at all, and I really don't want to do it. I hate it. Gonna read through the comments real quick and see if there's anything in here. Rockford, wait, when you said it's the filter company's fault, why make a filter that you can knock that part off? You know, I wish that I could actually try to blame someone else for it, but the truth of the matter is, it was my perfectly, I don't even know the correct word to be 100% honest with you, but like, it was my negligence in not making sure that that piece was on correctly. And the sponge filters, I like sponge filters for just about every other tank that I own except for the goldfish. I just don't feel like it keeps up with the amount of waste that goldfish produce. That's just my personal opinion. I never like the way they are, to be honest with you. One of your white clouds developed some swim bladder issues. Swim bladder issues and white clouds. I've never actually kept white clouds, but I'm going to assume that maybe fasting your tank for 24 hours and seeing if that alleviates it. Failing 24 hours, I would try maybe another day or two. You could probably fast them for, I would say, 2 days at the tops. I don't really know too much about them, but I know that in beta tend to like to eat more than they can, and therefore they create pressure on their swim bladders. And I've also failing it being just it's overeaten, I would possibly even pop some peas out of their shells and try and offer them a little bit of pea just to try and see if that will help regulate anything, just in case it's a constipation issue, which I'm sure white clouds also suffer from. Most fish do. So I would definitely try that. Yeah, Mr. B, I honestly, I did think about putting like a chunk of like filter sponge on the bottom of it, just so that, heaven forbid, should they knock it off, they couldn't actually get stuck to it. But I do, and I think that would be a good thing for polishing the water a little bit better as well. But I felt so bad. That was probably the worst thing. Oh my goodness. The red arrow wire. Yeah, Jeremy, I don't, unfortunately, I wish I knew more about white clouds. But I really, honestly, I genuinely would maybe try and fast them for 24 hours and see if that alleviates anything. Um, because I'm assuming that they're probably above the age where they're super, super tiny, but not quite full adults yet. So maybe that particular fish has tried to gorge itself fighting for food. I don't know how many you have either, so yeah, you can try the pea trick, or you can actually also increase a little bit of aquarium salt too. That sometimes helps. Just putting a little bit of aquarium salt in, like the recommended dose for your tank. I would definitely use that. Use those ideas and see, and let me know how that works out, because I don't. Unfortunately, I just don't know that much about them. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Lumpy. I honestly, I'm not even going to try and kid anyone about it. I don't know enough about white cloud minnows to give you an answer and be like 100% behind my answer. So I'm gonna definitely not try to give you guys the uneducated guesses, so to speak. You know. You know, another thing is if the tank is unheated, it could also slow down their systems. I don't know what part of the country you're in or where the fish are located. Maybe the tank's water has dropped a little bit more so overnight or something, and that's also slowed down their metabolism, and therefore maybe that's caused another reason that they could have maybe constipation causing the swim bladder. Those are kind of the things that I would think about when swim bladder issues are presented. If it's just that one particular fish and it doesn't correct itself in a day or two, I would definitely continue fasting that particular fish, and maybe even consider putting into like a spawning. Oh, mind freeze. Like one of the little spawning tanks and breeding tanks. I completely forgot what they're called. Someone help me out. But that's probably the route that I would go, to be 100% honest. But I'd love to know how they make out, because I actually really like white cloud minnows. I think they're really pretty little fish. I just never got around to actually keeping them. I'm always like way overstocked with beta. My plecos are fighting a little bit too behind me, I've noticed. I have 3 of them, and it's 2 females, 1 male ratio, and the male is trying all his tricks and the females are beating each other up, and no one's actually succumbing to the male's advances. Good night, Jess. Thank you for coming. But yeah, so that was 2 months. Yeah. I might, Kayla. I might be swayed into something like that. I do think they're really, really pretty fish, and I would certainly love to, breed them and just learn about them, just learn how they are, because that's kind of what I do. I like to get a species. I like to learn what there is to learn about them, and breed them, and just watch the way that they interact with everything. That to me is like the most rewarding thing about fish keeping, is that every single species has so many different things to know about it. Like, to me, it's so amazing. I'm always learning something new every single day. but yeah, so I have, I do not keep wild betas, Jay. Um, I'm very interested in wild beta. I do love them, but I haven't really delved into them just yet. Just because I love them a lot. I think they're very, very unique and beautiful fish, but I haven't really picked the kind that I want. There's so many, oh boy. Well, Rockford, if you're able to actually go and get it, then that would be fantastic. I'm nowhere near that area, otherwise I would love to go and get it. But right, Jeremy, don't let Amber hear you calling aliens wilds. Yeah, she would probably have quite the opinion, God love her. If anyone would point me in the right direction, actually I would probably, before I actually even got wilds, I would absolutely go to Amber and ask her which ones, because I want to work with some of the more endangered species of beta, and in hopes of, you know, conservation efforts, and hoping that I can learn enough about them in order to educate, breed them, and just not resaturate, but like help people learn more about them, because there is just so many amazing, just amazing different kinds. Yes, Rockford, definitely go and get it and post a lot of pictures on Facebook so that we can all see this fish. We would definitely love to see that. I always wonder how much of a delay there is between the YouTube, like me seeing the chat and answering some of the stuff that is being said. That's always kind of, because I see some people have like a 2 or 3 minute delay almost. So I always wonder if that's something that goes on with my live streams too, with the delays. But I recently just started a Facebook page, because I do have some items for sale now. Just a few items, not like which one, New England Endler, which tank, because there's like 7 behind me. Oh really, Candy? Thank you for letting me know. Oh, tanks, sorry. I need better eyes apparently. Okay, so this tank over in the far, the furthest one over, is those are my guppy grow outs. These are a line that I'm working on, and I've basically pulled all my favorite males and some of the very young females, and they're in there trying to produce F2. And then this tank in the middle, this is it's an Anacharis grow tank, which is why there's a big line across the front of it, because that is my limit as to how low I can clip the pieces, like the individual plants. But there's also shrimp, red shrimp in there, the red Neocardina shrimp, and then this tank over here on the top with the oak leaves in it has some what I would consider soft coals. These are beta that they just haven't hit the markers that I want them to hit. There's some of them with a couple of deformities in them, where as they've grown, they've gotten a little bit of a curvature in the spine or at the bottom of the tails, and they're just not they're just not at the level that I would expect them to be at. So they're in there, and hopefully they grow and they're just late bloomers, but if they're not, that's where they're gonna stay and be my personal little mishap tank, so to speak. And then down on the bottom tank down here that you see the piece of plastic in, this is another tank of red neocardina, and it's also a Java moss grow tank. Actually, I wonder if I can... You can kind of see it a little bit better. There's some Java moss in there that's growing. And then in the two other tanks, those are some bunches of Anacaris violodia. And oh, who thinks I should make Candy my mod? If she'll accept me, because she's so amazing. But right now I have two male beta in here. The one on the far side is my beautiful crown tail Gaston, and then the one in the middle is a young male, and he is a half moon. He is a half moon placat that came from one of my absolute most beautiful males, who unfortunately passed away just after he raised the fry long enough for me to save the fry. But he's a young stud. This is him trying to bloom a little bit more, and he's attempting to build his first bubble nest, which you can just about see right here. So he's doing a pretty good job. But I had another male in there, and he ate two sets of eggs, so unfortunately he is now cut off. He is not allowed any more activity with female betas whatsoever. He doesn't want to raise them. He wants to swim with the ladies, but he doesn't want to raise the babies. So alrighty, so, oh, and for, sorry, I forgot your name already. New England Endler, was that it? New England Endler? Yeah. So, and then behind me is a 75 beta sorority of females. And I'm just going to try and I'm just going to try and read the chat a little bit just to make sure that I can keep up with you guys. Vietnamese white clouds for a while. Finally found some that still for $10 a piece. Also, if you're ever, Jeremy, in kind of reply to your message, if there's ever particular species that you're trying to get a hold of, I've got some very, very close friends that can get a hold of pretty much any single kind of fish you could even think up. So I can also look at the stock list and see what I have there, and let you know whether or not, you know, we can get that particular kind of fish. Restrictions of not having a range. You guys are funny. You know, I always, whenever it comes to actually like reading the chat, I'm like, wow, I should really wear my glasses because I really cannot see. Like, I really cannot see. Joseph in the house. Hello. You're home and well? Alright, so let me see this. I don't know if I can even do it from here. I have no idea. I don't even know how to. This is how like YouTube illiterate I am, I don't know how to make mods. So you have to kind of just like bear with me. Candy, if she is, let me see here. Candy, if you'll have me, thank you. I don't know. I don't know if that worked. So, Candy, see if you have those that beautiful wrench. Oh, there we go. No, Candy, thank you. You are just like the most amazing woman in the world. I I cannot thank you enough. Like, I wish I was close to you, because I would come over, we would have coffee, and I'd just give you a big hug. Like, I would just give you a hug, because you have to deal with so many other channels. So many other channels, and honestly, I don't know who else I should give mods to, because Mr. B, I don't know, he thought he was going to be a troll when he came in here. I have to keep changing screens to see whether or not I can make people mods. What is, let me see here. Where is Dan? Where you at? Uh-oh. Oh boy, now there's two. You guys are in trouble now. You're not hiding, Dan. Don't even. You can't be hiding. Alrighty, guys, so confession time. What is the biggest mistake you guys have made in your fish rooms? And I don't want to hear the general, I flooded it when I was filling up my tanks, or I siphoned the water into my boot. Because that's mine. I siphon water into my boots all the time. Like, literally all the time. I'm always just not paying attention to where the water's going, and it's always down my legs and in my shoes, and I give up. I give up. Thank you for putting the links out as well. And also, Candy, if you could, would you please add the the GoFundMe's and all of the other things that you guys have been working so hard on recently, for yourself and your family, and also for Pam, because I know that Pam also needs our love and our support also. And also, I think I heard something about Chris and his and the calendar. I'm sorry, Chris, I don't know enough about it. I do apologize, but please, 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 by all means, put that out there so that it can be put across everybody. I want us all, if I can help that little bit, I absolutely will. I absolutely will. Yeah, you know what? She probably won't. Dan, put candies up there too, please, if you wouldn't mind. I really would appreciate that. Yes, Chris, I did see that you are selling that to support Pam. You guys absolutely blow me away. And I want to say a personal thank you to everyone that has stepped up and helped support just our wonderful community. We have like the best community in the world. So I want to give you all a big round of applause for supporting each other, because it's just a beautiful thing that we can all come together and help. And if there's anything further that I can do from my end, please message me and I will do my best. You are more than welcome to also share those in my groups, my group, and also my page. I have no problem with you guys sharing the love for our wonderful community. So I don't see too many. Oh wait, I put a Cuban cichlid in a tank with 5 larger Tanganyikan cichlids a week ago. Now they're all full. Oh goodness. You know, oh, it just, this is something else. I'm absolutely convinced that my flower horn, this is a little update on my flower horn. Recently, my flower horn was really sick. She was honestly knocking on death's door. Like, I really genuinely think that was it. I was gonna lose her. And when I first, a lot of people already know that when I first got her, she was like this big, like literally this big. And I was like, wow, she's kind of small, but whatever. I just kind of figured that she was really young. And then I found out that she was like nearly 6 months old and they just didn't feed her. So it stunted their growth. So then I was like, wow, so she's just going to be stunted for the rest of her life. But she's at about 5 or 6 inches long now. So she's at a good size, but all of a sudden she stopped eating. She wouldn't swim, move. She laid on the bottom of the tank, or she hid. Like, I say hid, she just stayed in the one section of the tank and never moved. And worst mistake ever, me giving up breeding on histogrammus, believing that someone else would keep on doing it. One of the most beautiful. Oh yeah, what a shame. Aquatics, hello. Thank you for joining us here. So I reached out to a couple of my friends and they all literally were like, you need to worm her. That's most likely what the problem is. So I wormed her. And it definitely cleared her out. It definitely made a difference. And I did actually make a video on it, but I never really updated that video. Just because she's such a finicky fish, I would think she was fine, and then all of a sudden she'd start acting weird again. I've come to the conclusion that she's just broken. Like, she is set to set my nerves on edge. Every single time I come down to see her, she barely even looks at me, and then all of a sudden she's chasing me across the glass. And then there's times where I'll go to feed her, she doesn't even move, and then there's other times where she'll actually like actively jump out the tank to try and bite my fingers as I'm trying to give her food. But she was supposed to be, and I know this is kind of one of those subjects that brings a lot of controversy with it, but she's supposed to be my pollinator, and that being said, she often would eat some of my beta fry that just don't make the cut. They're not growing, they're deformed, whatever, so on and so forth. And she has decided that she doesn't want to eat them. She does not want to eat beta. She has 3 as her friends or her pets or something in her tank, and she doesn't eat them. Occasionally she chases them just to remind them that she is a big predator fish, but she leaves them alone. And I'm just like, wow. Hiya, Daryl. So she, apart from being miserable and sulking in the corner, and you know what? I'm starting to think that, Brandon. I'm thinking that she's just not interested. I mean, she's a big predator fish. They have these wonderful aggressive tendencies, yet she has no interest. Like, I'll even try and get pictures of her with these betas that I can share with everyone, because like she'll be eating her food and the beta are right there snagging her food and swimming off with it. And I'm just like, these fish don't understand the balance of life here. Like, you should be hiding from her. She's easily 15 times your size. But she's just, her eyes have never fully come back. Like, her eyes used to be like this beautiful, like, fire red. And when she got sick, they went completely black. Like, almost completely black. And I was like, this is it. She's done. Like, she is done for. She's not going to pull out of this. And somehow she did. But now, like, I'll feed her, she'll eat, and then she'll sulk in the corner and she won't come near me. Like, I try to feed her rat poisoning or something. And I'm just like, this, I can't please this fish. It doesn't matter what I do. She is not, she is just not. No, she's not egg bound either. If you're talking about sugar, she, you know, I have thought about getting her a boyfriend though. I have thought about it. She doesn't have any, like, she doesn't have any obvious egg bound issues. Like, she's not swollen in her stomach. Her tube is not like out at all unless she eats too much, but she's just a very bizarre fish. Like, right as I thought she was kind of coming out of a shell and starting to be like really interactive with me, all of a sudden she's just like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm like, okay, you sit and pout in the corner. But if I, heaven forbid, should I go in there and try and clean her tank and then she tries to bite me? Yes, I did do the second round of meds, and she's just nothing. She's just not interested in anything except for when it comes to my phone. She likes to try and kill my elephant. This is like her thing. If I put the phone up, she wants to eat the elephant. So I sit and play with her for 10-15 minutes so that she can chase my elephant around. And Brandon, I think what I'm also going to do is, she may very well end up getting some of my guppy fry, because I have quite the number of guppies, but I don't know yet, because I want to make sure that the line that I'm trying to work on are really, they are absolutely stunning. I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram also, but I try to put pictures up on Instagram and Facebook of the line of guppies that I'm trying to stabilize. Sorry, for a second there I couldn't think of the correct word. I'm really trying to stabilize them so that I can offer them out to everyone, because they are so beautiful. They really are absolutely gorgeous. But unfortunately, I think my muck collection is gonna also be extremely extravagant too. So she might have to get some guppy snacks. So, but yeah, so that's kind of some of the stuff that's been going on. I've been kind of busy trying to get together some of the things that I really felt that would benefit not just me, but fellow keepers, because I know that there's a lot of people that they want to try live plants, but yet they don't know where to start. Let me tell you, I love the Anacharis. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is literally bomb-proof. It's just such an awesome plant. It looks so fantastic, and you can cut it really short, or you can leave it to grow the entire tank and start wrapping around the tank, and it's just, fish love it, shrimp love it. It's perfect. I love it. It's one of my favorite plants, and I really hope that there's a lot of people that are gonna enjoy them too. I think I'm also going to try getting into some sort of Diopistos. I think they're such beautiful little fish. And you've killed Java moss. You know, I read something somewhere that even if your Java moss turns brown, keep it and it might even come back. I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's completely true, but mine, I got mine a couple of weeks ago and it seems to be doing really, really well. It seems to be doing pretty well. Can you see it a little bit better like that? There's actually like 3 sections of it in here. Hello, Thirsty Rabbit. There's 3 sections of it in here, and it seems to be doing really well. I did take the liberty in putting CO2 in here as well, so hopefully I won't kill it. But that's also one of the reasons that I put shrimp in there, just to help make sure that it's staying nice and clean, and the shrimp are actually like helping keep any algae or anything in there all cleaned off, and they seem to love it. The shrimp seem to love going in it and crawling all through it, and it's cute to watch them like go up onto the little stems and then like fall down. It's silly things like that that just make me giggle. I can sit down here for hours just laughing at my fish. And yes, thank you to absolutely everybody who has served. I also am part of a veterans family, so thank you for your service. I truly, truly appreciate it, and I know that everyone here appreciates every single family that has veterans, active military members. It's just amazing. It is amazing. And there's just been so many horrible things recently going on that I'm just glad that there's a lot of families that have been brought back together too, you know? But I'm trying to think if there's anything else, there's any other updates that I have. I don't really think there's much else that I have update-wise. Oh, I do have a bunch of, I guess it would be considered live rock, but it's like dry live rock. It's like coral skeletons, and I would love it for someone to reach out to me and tell me if there's any other use for it in freshwater tanks other than pH balancing. That would be fantastic. Does anyone here use the pieces of coral? Let me. Like these. I have like literally an entire basket of it. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it yet, whether I just want to add it into like a filter media. For once I have the new rack system put up, which is probably not going to happen. To be fair, it's probably not going to happen until the new year sometime, just because Christmas, 4 kids, say no more. I thought I read that as well. It will harden your water? Okay. I read that some species like it for breeding purposes, so I'm kind of holding on to it, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to, like I said, whether I wanted to put it into like a filtration system. But I know that there's some of the species that I want to work with are very particular with their pHs, so we're gonna see how that plays out. But I literally have an entire like basket of it, like a shopping basket. So I definitely, if anyone needs it, by all means, let me know. And yeah, I've got guppies breeding ridiculously. You bought a 6-foot tank for $1? What? You know, I was gonna put some in some of my tanks just because I think some of the pieces is just so intricate. They look so pretty. I was like, just because of the way they look. Greg, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful night. Some of these pieces are just so amazing, and to think that it was a natural organism that actually made these is just, it blows me away. It absolutely blows me away. Maybe one day I get into salted tanks, but not for a long time because I love my freshwater way too much. Way too much. There's far too many species that I want to enjoy in the freshwater than salt water. And my brothers over at Green Oasis Farms, they have a lot of Michael Eugenio. He is like the saltwater geek, and he is absolutely adamant. He's literally been begging me to put saltwater in here, just so that I can have these little, I think they're called rock flowers or something like that. Flower rocks, something. They're like little tiny corals, and they look super interesting, but I would be so sad if I actually killed them. These little rocks. I don't know if you can actually kill rocks, but I guess they're alive, so you can. But I absolutely love them. I love these. Yeah, my water actually is generally pretty hard. Honestly, I haven't tested it for a while, and I probably should because winter's coming, and that's when the water company is here. I'm in northeast Pennsylvania, and the water companies in the winter love to spike every single chemical that possibly is in the water, so I absolutely have to check my water perimeters soon just to make sure that there's nothing bad going in, because I definitely don't want to kill my shrimp colonies, because they're the ones that will be dead first out of everything that I keep. Will be my shrimp, and then probably my flower horn, because she's just a headache. She's like a 2-year-old child. She stresses me out. Hey, Dawn. She absolutely, oh, that fish. She is beautiful, and it, yeah, I'm in northeast Pennsylvania, so it's up here. It gets pretty cold fairly quick, and it kind of stays cold for a while. It's not as bad as some of the states, like I think, oh goodness, I can't remember what state Pam is in, but where Pam lives, her weather is just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Like, she has horrible harsh winters, and just the whole spectrum of weather that happens there, and it's always so fast and furious for her. But up here it gets cold up here. It gets really cold up here, which is why my goldfish are in Wyoming. Thank you, Candy. I couldn't remember. I was gonna say, I think it was Minnesota or something. I was like, that's not right. It's not Minnesota. So a reverse osmosis system is common. Yeah. You know, especially up here, honestly, it would probably be best for me to use an RO system. But typically my water seems to be fine except for in the winter. Like, the winter is when everything spikes. Wyoming, where the weather is terrible and the landlords are worse. Buffalo, New York. You're not far from me. I'm literally like an hour outside of, like, I'm an hour from New York. An hour and a half-ish, probably. I forget where I went recently. I went into New York, but like upstate New York. I think the thing with one of the things with the reverse osmosis systems is it pulls everything out of the water, and then you have to remineralize and restabilize your water for the particular fish that you're keeping. And I mean, you can get the ones that like individually like pull certain things out of the water rather than just like cleaning the water completely and stripping it from everything. But you know, typically here, like I said before, the water's not too bad until the winter, and the winter is just when everything, like, you can smell the chlorine. Like if I put the water on in my kitchen, you can smell it from my front room. Like the chlorine can be really, really strong. And I don't know whether it's just the chlorine or whether it's just, the chlorine and the other chemicals all combined together at the same time that makes it that brutal. But it's just during the winter months, it's pretty wicked. It is pretty wicked. But you know, the joy of living in a very cold area in the winter. Yeah, if I had my way, I would move out into the country a little bit more. I mean, this is city water, but it's not like a huge city. It's a very small city or town even. Um, but still, like, it doesn't really make a difference. It's city water is city water. But if I had my way, I would find a nice house out in the countryside that is ran off of a well. My problem is keeping that well full, because I'm hoping that soon I'm gonna have more than 70 fish tanks up and running. Oh wow, Candy, that's crazy. Today it's a little bit warmer here than it's been um for the past few days. Yesterday was absolutely wicked. It was for me, and it wasn't even that cold, but yesterday it was really cold yesterday. Um, but it looks like Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be fairly cold. The daytime highs are like 30, so it's like nowhere near as cold as what you have it, but that's still cold. And the lows are like 12, 17 17 and 16. So it's still pretty chilly. It's still pretty chilly. I'm not ready to move south yet, though. Not yet. Not yet. I don't feel like I need to go down south yet. Don, where are you? Where are you located? Yeah, that's actually one of my plans for when my fish room is up and running. I'm gonna actually get a rain collection system, so that I can filter that out. Nice, Don. So that I can filter that out and like use that specifically for certain species of fish and my shrimp that would benefit more from it. But that's still some stuff that I got to work on. It's going to be really, it's definitely going to be a work in progress, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. There's so many things that you got to think about when you're adding so many fish tanks to your current setup. Like right now I have 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 tanks up and running in my basement currently. And I actually have 2 more tanks upstairs in my main house. But I still have, I want to say 60 tanks in my garage. So once you start going from like 10 tanks to 60 tanks, your bills start to really go through the roof. So I've got to do kind of a gradual increase rather than just one hit wonder it. Only 60 tanks is nothing. It is nothing. I could definitely fit in more, but just don't tell my husband, because he would not be very happy with that. You should have seen his face when I pulled up with them. And I roped in my next door neighbor to take me to go get them with his pickup truck. I got dubbed the damn fish girl. I was like, if the power goes out, it's got nothing to do with me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to do with me. You know, Brandon, I do not, like, as much as I enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas, I am not looking forward to snow, not one bit. I'm not. The novelty of snow wore off really, really fast for me. Yeah. That video was that was a fun one, especially when, like, before I even managed to get the phone and get my husband in the background going, holy sh! I was like, I hope I get him, because he was going on about how many more are there? Because that was only like the first load of them. And he was already like, oh my god, what did you do? And I'm just like, but you love me, right? It was great. And now he actually, I have to give him a whole lot of credit, because he comes down and he helps me with everything, and he's really enjoying it, so it's great. But now my fish room's not just my fish room anymore. My husband gets to share it, so it's even better. It really is even better. But I would definitely consider moving into some warmer weather in a few more years, because my body does not like this cold, and my back certainly doesn't like shoveling. No. I've got a pretty large driveway, so if there's anything more than just like a little dusting of snow that I can't sweep off with my broom, I'm just like, no. I don't want anything to do with it. And the one year we got like 4.5 or 5 feet of snow or something. It was stupid amounts of snow. And I was just like, oh my lord. Me and my neighbor actually ended up being outside for like 5 hours trying to dig out our neighbors' cars, because all of our neighbors were like elderly. So we were digging out their houses and everything. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit longer. I love the seasons up here. Like, I never really appreciated it because I was from the city, you know, so I never really had that appreciation for fall and all the beautiful colors that nature gives you. And when I moved to Pennsylvania, and suddenly there's all these trees everywhere, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I even now, I still find myself driving and just like going, wow, look at the trees. Like, they're amazing. And just seeing the color in them during the fall is just, it's breathtaking up here. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. But it's, I'm not getting any younger, and I can definitely say that I know that my body is not going to tolerate this brutal cold for too much longer. So maybe me and my 72, I think I'm up to. I think it's 72. So I've got 65 and I had like 7 already or something. I don't even know. I lost count. But I got a lot of fish to be moving with me, so I gotta stay put for a while at least. Caleb, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And actually, you know what? I just realized that I went over because I was gonna only be on until 10 o'clock. So I should probably wrap it up a little bit here. And I definitely, again, I want to say thank you so much for being with me tonight. It was absolutely fantastic to have so many people in here and sharing with me my mishap, you know. I wish honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I was on the verge of crying and holding my Miranda in my hands, like, oh my god, she's gonna die. And she had this little cone head going on. I honestly I should have taken a picture because no one would have ever believed that her head was like a tube. It was so funny. But like now looking back on it, it was funny to see it. But at that point, when I noticed that she was in the tube, I thought she was done. But guys, again, thank you so much. Thank you to my new mods, Dansley and Candy. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. Pam, if there's anything that I can do to help, please let me know. Candy, the same. And Chris, also make sure you message me the details so that I can help share everything out. Because, you know, being together is definitely more power to everyone who's going to be benefiting from the fish fam. So again, I'm going to say thank you. Have a wonderful night. It was awesome. And same time next week. What do you think? I think it sounds like a perfect plan. So good night, everyone.